So, how do we do a whole genome for you? What I'd suggest first is looking at our website, where we have really good examples that explain about all the parts that we do. And once you come to the conclusion that you'd like to go ahead with it, you ring our receptionist or you email genetics@90sloanestreet.com and say, I'd like to do this. We will then send you some consent forms. These consent forms are for the blood tests that we do to do your genetic tests. So we actually do panel tests for 160 genes, which is a very detailed way of reading genes. And we also do the whole genome. So we have consent for our panel tests, and we have a consent form for our whole genome. When you come to the appointment, we can explain more to you, but it's good to have read it first because it saves a lot of time. The other consent forms we have are for storage of your DNA. We have an Institute of Cancer Research form for storing this. And so you briefly look through the consent forms, and then we help you when you come along to your appointment. For your appointment, what we like to do is try and make it as quick as easy as possible in one go. So you're probably at 90 Sloane Street for about 2.5 hours maximum. In that time, you'll have a medical for an hour. You'll then have half an hour going through the consenting and the counselling about genetic testing. And following that, you'll have your blood taken, and then you'll have an ECG, electrocardiogram, an echocardiogram, which is just jelly on your chest to see how your heart contracts and all the valves, which takes about half an hour. And finally, you'll have an abdominal ultrasound to look at your organs and your liver, again, painless, by a consultant radiologist. So our aim is to do this really neatly for you. And then after that, you go away. And about 4 weeks later, we normally get the panel tests back. That's for the 160 genes that we've checked, about 80 cardiac, about 80 cancer. And we can give you a ring with those to say what they are, or ask you to come in if there were any issues around them. And then separate to that, we wait a further probably 12 weeks to get the whole genome back. When the whole genome comes back to us, we have a multidisciplinary team meeting with our consultant geneticists. So we have 5 consultants with different skills, which is really important. They go through your genes, and then when we're happy with the report, we then ring you and ask you to come in when we hand over the results to you of all those tests. And we also will explain things, so you essentially have this appointment with a consultant geneticist, which is part of the study. We feel consultant geneticists are completely the key to high quality success and getting the best out of genes. Lastly, we can take a little longer from the raw data files that we get coming back. We send them to the Institute of Cancer Research, and in Professor Oziel's lab, they're processed to look at SNP profiling, which is a slightly research level study still, but looks very promising for predicting risks of prostate cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, colorectal cancer, and also, interestingly, cardiac genes. So you finally will have those back. And the cardiac genes are mainly SNP profiles for maybe predicting certain people who are at risk of coronary artery disease who wouldn't otherwise known of it through standard risk factors potentially. So that's it really, and that's how quick it is, and that's our aim. That's why we've set the whole thing up to make it really work as easy as possible for patients and to be as efficient as possible to make the largest difference to you. Thank you.